What's up? Welcome to Rennthusiast. My name is Will, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you through this 2017 Porsche 911, the 991.2. This car's a Carrera S, and what makes it unique is that it is a manual. Most of these cars come in PDK. I don't know the production numbers. I've been monitoring the market because I am going to be selling this car in the next few weeks, and so I've been trying to keep an eye on prices and what a fair asking price would be. And I've been looking for manuals, and they're just hard to find to get any comps. I picked this car up a few months ago, and the purpose of my purchasing it was I wanted to get into a modern 911. I hadn't really owned one. My first 911 was water-cooled. It was a 997.2 C4S in PDK. Man, that was like 6 or 7 years ago now. When I came across this car, it was local. I got a chance to test drive it. I got a chance to meet the seller. And so I bought the car because I wanted to experience it, and it has been a blast. But yes, I am ready to move it along. I want to kind of just say something for some of you long-term viewers. I am not a flipper. I am not a dealer. I am an experiencer of Porsche automobiles, and so I do buy and sell cars quite a bit, but it is not my business. My goal is to buy one of these cars, enjoy it for a period of time, and sell it, and hopefully just get my investment back out. Today I'm going to take you through this 991.2. I'll talk to you a little bit about why I love it so much, what's made it so good. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the interior and the driving experience and all of that good stuff. Before I get into that though, I'd like to ask you to come join my Facebook group. It's called Rennthusiast Air-Cooled Porsche Fans. The Facebook group is not about me. There's about 4,500 members in there now, I think, and these guys are sharing technical how-tos and opinions and pictures and for sale, cars for sale. And so come check that out if you're on Facebook. Now, let's get down to business in this 991.2. I have really enjoyed the creature comforts of this 991.2. I have always, I'm not going to say always, most of what I've owned has been air-cooled Porsches, which are, of course, analog, and they lack the creature comforts, and you're driving them for a different reason than to have an around town daily, I think. Maybe some of you out there would daily your air-cooled Porsche. Tell me about it. Tell me I'm full of it. If you don't, or if you do, think that you could daily. But this car has been a fantastic option for me to daily. And quite frankly, the reason that I'm selling it so quickly is I've been running the miles up. Candidly, I didn't look at my documentation before shooting this video, but I want to say that I bought this car with 18,000 miles on it. It now has 21,282 miles. And it is just, it's so easy to rack up the miles. I have a house, a second home, about an hour and a half away, and I've just been driving this car back and forth. Air conditioning, nice and spacious. I love the seating position of this car. Very, very reminiscent of my 981 Spider, my GT4. It's just like, in a Cayman S that I had too. Everything just feels right. As far as the seating position and the ergonomics, and if everything's in reach, it's very easy to drive. Sorry about that. Let me just turn that off. Gosh, so annoying. It's helpful, but so annoying, those radar detectors. So the seat comfort is where you want it. Steering wheel looks really good. This car has the thicker steering wheel, which I really enjoy driving. It's just an upgraded feel. The car does have Sport Chrono. I love Sport Chrono on this 991.2. I only run it in the sport mode, and the sport mode gives you this really killer exhaust burble that I think you got to run all the time if you drive one of these cars. I'll get into this in a moment. The car is it's a turbocharged flat six, a 3-liter flat six. And it does make power in an interesting way, but of course with any turbocharged motor, you're kind of missing that really nice exhaust note. But with this sport exhaust that this 991.2 has, it's actually very, very fun, and it's easy to control the burble on the deceleration especially. So that's fun. Something else I really, really love about this car is what I'll call a cheater feature. it's got rev match. And, you know, at first when I picked up, I bought a 2014 Cayman S maybe 6 months ago. That was my first return to water cooled, and it had the rev match. And at first I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to use this. I love blipping on my own. You know, I love the art of rev matching, and quite frankly, this automatic rev match is a hoot. My 981 Spider has it, my 981 GT4 has it, and you know, I don't know, it's just, there's something cool about the perfect rev match. And candidly, when you are like ripping through curves, you're able to downshift mid-curve without upsetting the car. So, you know, call me a cheater, call me what you will, but I think it's a really, really fun feature that this car offers. Along the lines of nice features, the modern, effective air conditioning system is such a refreshing change for me. My 95 993, my Polar Silver 993 that I just sold, I never used the AC. The AC compressor went out on me. I never replaced it. So, you know, dead of summer, you're sweating profusely. And, you know, the other air-cooled cars that I've owned, none of them have had air conditioning. So this is such a nice change, right? Like, you don't have to have the windows down. And two, this car has heated and ventilated seats. And so all of these things come together to make the car, it brings together all that's fun about a 911 with these modern conveniences, these comfort conveniences that all of a sudden, I mean, if you're a true 911 guy or girl, you're gonna find yourself racking up the miles. Now, I know some of you out there drive these cars sparingly, you know, it's more of a garage queen, PCA show, ownership experience for you, and that's fine. I'm a driver, and so I've just been driving this car. Let me talk to you about the purchase experience. This car, as I said, had 18,000 miles on it, and it needed a water pump. The water pump was leaking slightly. If you have researched these 991.2s, something you're going to want to look out for is the water pump. You're going to want to climb up under the car. You're going to want to take a look at whether or not you see coolant, whether it's dried or actively running. The water pumps are a known point of failure on these 991.2s, and in fact, there's such a widespread problem that Porsche had to do a 10-year warranty program from the data manufacturer on any of these water pumps. So my first order of business as soon as I bought the car was to take it to Foreign Cars Italia. It's a Porsche dealer here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Charlotte. I'll hold my tongue on them, but I do use them for service. I don't think I would use my air-cooled guy on this car just because it's not what he specializes in. But anyway, I ran the car over to Foreign Cars Italia, and I had them replace the water pump under warranty. And while they had the car, I went ahead and did the 40,000 mile service on it. And I'm somebody that just really believes fervently in keeping it on track with its service intervals. But also part of the work to get the water pump done involves taking off the rear bumper, which you have to do, as I recall, in order to do plugs. So if you have the opportunity, if you buy one of these cars and have the opportunity, or the unfortunate opportunity, I should say, to replace the water pump, if you're anywhere near a service, I would recommend you kind of combine them to save the labor. So effectively what happens is the warranty covered some of the labor with my 40,000. So this car is, you know, pretty much up to standard. One thing I've been remiss on is replacing the front tires. It has fresh rear tires. The front tires are date coated out. Stupid to go and drive on them, I know, especially at interstate speeds. So I got to figure out, do I want to replace those before I sell the car, or do I just want to disclose it? So I want to get down to business on this turbo motor and what it's like to drive, because that was the first thing I noticed when I test drove the cars. It's just, there's no two ways about it. It's going to make power differently than the naturally aspirated 911s I'm used to. I mean, there's rev match, so good. This car is, first of all, I'm going to say it's super fast, and that's what's enjoyable about it. it does have some lag. It has torque down low in the RPM range, but it's certainly not going to blow your socks off. So for around town driving, you gotta get used to managing that turbo lag. But for me, it's not so bad that it interferes with, your stop and go driving. The turbo lag down low is not such that it really interferes with your enjoyment of the driving. In fact, it becomes a part of it where you have to, manage it and learn how to almost like caress the thing to make it work for you. Once you're higher in the rev range, which if you're used to driving a 911, you want to leave, when you're in that kind of spirited mode, I generally leave the revs up kind of in the middle of the rev range, and when you do that, you're able to get into the turbos very, very quickly. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sidebar, and if you have been watching my channel, then you know that a couple of years back, I did a video about a 997.1 911 turbo that I owned, and then I ultimately sold because, frankly, it was too fast. There were a couple different reasons that went into that. I actually had 5 reasons that I shared in that video, and I took a lot of, let's say, hatred, insults, jokes at my expense because I sold that car based on the fact that it was just hyper warp speed fast. And at that time too, and I've done this to myself, and my viewers will know this. At the time I did that, I'm like, I'm never gonna own another water-cooled Porsche. It's only air-cooled for me. I dig my own holes in that way, right? I get into these superlatives, I think you call them, where I make a decision and it's always gonna be that way. And so, I have flip-flopped, and now that I'm back into water-cooled, I've got certain guys out there saying, hey, looks like that didn't really last very long. Hey, fair enough. I am definitely back into water-cooled, and in fact, I am sitting here in the driver's seat of a turbocharged, modern water-cooled 911. So how does this compare to that 997.1, like official 911 turbo? Totally different animal. That thing was warp speed, unmanageable. Oh my God, I'm gonna grow handcuffs. And this car is quick. You got to be careful, not going too fast, but you can definitely have fun in this car, wind it out, and you're still not going stupid fast. Now, the older I get, like I'm 45 years old, I am not as excited about straight line speed as I am about, taking a curve quickly. In my younger days, it was all about, man, can I get 140? Can I get 130 on straightaways? That's not what I do. So I'm not as tempted to do that in this car. But I guess what I'm saying to you guys is that the 991.2, while it's turbocharged, doesn't necessarily beg you to go fast. You can have fun, you can enjoy the car without, flogging it and getting yourself in potential trouble. Something else I want to talk to you about now is this manual transmission experience with this car. It's taken a little bit of time for me to really master the art of driving this manual transmission with this turbo motor. It's fun, it's entertaining. If you're somebody that likes to roll the gears, this is for you. But it does take a little bit of it's an art to make it all work together correctly. I love this car. It's been fun. I'm ready to experience something else. I am considering a 997.1 or maybe a 997.2 Carrera, preferably manual, just to kind of experience that generation. My problem is this, is anytime I get into, I set my eyes on something, it seems like, and maybe this is selective perception, but it seems like tons of other people start chasing it, and then the prices go up. So the 997.2s might be a little bit more than I want to spend, but the .1's interesting to me. So guys, that's been my rambling review of this car. I'm happy to answer any questions. I could do a follow-up video if you want more details. But overall, I would highly recommend this car. The interior comfort is awesome. The modern conveniences, including the backup camera and the parking sensors, freaking second to none. I think the exterior design, as I shared with you earlier, is definitely attractive, especially the rear end. So if you're looking to buy one of these things, I strongly recommend you get into it. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I've taken a couple months off of publishing. I've been doing some things with my family, and I just kind of needed some time away from YouTube. Again, some negative things were happening, and I just needed to take some time off. So if you're still with me, I appreciate you sticking around. I hope to catch you next time. I'm out of here.